Good afternoon, and welcome back to another episode on the Alpha Evolution. I'm your host and favorite dating coach, Justin Adams, and I want to talk about the really common issue. Don't mind my cat. About body count, body count. You guys worry about this so much, and I really don't understand why. There's only like one or two camps that I notice like really care about this. One is the guys who want to get married. And what's funny is that the guys who are talking about getting married, half of them aren't even interested in getting married. They just want to use this information that they've grabbed off the internet as like a means of pushing it in women's faces that they're not good enough, or that they're fucked up and there's something wrong with them. And so what it was is this study I read maybe 2014, 2012 is when it was done. I can't remember exactly, but it was a number of years ago. And it showed that divorce rates increase with the amount of sexual partners that the woman has. The fewer partners she has, the less likely she is to divorce. And I guess that they were saying that the conclusions were like, oh, maybe it's because if she's had more sexual partners, she knows what's out there, and that will kind of spark her curiosity after so many years of being married, and then she'll be like getting bored with her husband, and then wondering what else can I get out there. When in reality, when people separate for whatever reason, whether they're married or not, the reasons for doing so are vast. There's a huge amount of reasons, and it's all due to complex factors that are happening in your psychologies. The thing is, that's the issue with studies. Like, studies can just give you like a little bit of an idea about something, all right? But correlation doesn't equal causation, okay? So it's like if you looked at half the men in prison and they all had beards, and then you say, well, half the men in prison have beards, therefore men who have beards are likely to commit crimes. Is that really true? I don't know. But you can't take information like that and then say that it's truth, right? Because studies understand that all studies are limited in their scope. They have to be. They have to eliminate a ton of other factors and only look down one very narrow lane and then draw conclusions from that. And it's really difficult to draw conclusions from a situation, something especially like marriage or just relationships where people are coming together and separating and saying, oh, this is a reason why people separate. When, that's like even just taking one person and looking at their behavior, okay, and saying, oh, well, they do this thing in their life, so therefore their weird behavior or whatever kind of behavior is being looked at is due to these sort of things, or is due to this one thing that we discovered that they experienced early on, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And that's omitting a huge portion of that human being, right? So in the same sense, it's like, now it becomes more complex when you're taking two people and bringing them together. And then, so that's creating like three entities. You got like one partner, the other partner, and then you've got the relationship itself, right? And then saying, oh, well, these people separated because she's got more sexual partners. How does that even make sense? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Because we don't operate like machines. It's not like you've got your computer and it's acting weird. You do a systems check and you find out that one app is corrupted, and you remove the app and then everything's fine. It's not linear that way. That's not how human minds work. Furthermore, that's definitely not how women work. Guys, you got to stop worrying about women's body count. You really got to. It doesn't matter. The only thing that really matters is is her mental stability, her mental and emotional stability. And to think, now I hear the arguments, right? I hear, oh, well, she has more, if she has more sexual partners, then that just increases the chances of having a disrupted mental stability. As if that's the only thing that leads to mental instability. Like a woman could have, say, 5 sexual partners her entire life, okay? But she's had a handful of other experiences that has had traumatic effects. And if she hasn't dealt with those, she's going to be screwy, okay? She could have 10 and be really screwy not because of the sex, but because of other things in her life that happened that you have no clue about. Women don't get messed up simply because they had sex with a bunch of dudes. That's not how it works. Can it? Of course. Is it necessarily so? No, absolutely not. And then guys try to justify it with, energy stuff. Where they'll say, oh, well, a woman is, when a man is with a woman, he leaves his energy with her. And it's like, bro, what are you talking about? Like the last time I looked at my junk, it was not glowing. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not a spiritual person. I'm not a religious person. I have no clue what the heck you're talking about by leaving my energy with a woman. Now, could you say that an experience with me left a psychological imprint? Sure. That is absolutely possible. And could those psychological imprints left by guys be traumatic? Sometimes, yes. But the majority of them, no. Because men aren't out here like that. We don't have an overwhelming population of sociopathic and psychopathic men out here having sex with a bunch of women. That's just not how it works. Most guys are just regular guys. And the sex that women have are with regular guys. That's how bell curves work. All right? Most dudes are just regular dudes. They're not freaking psychopaths. They're not sociopaths. And they're not imprinting evil into these women's minds or traumatizing them and screwing them up. All right? Now, my thought is on this whole body count thing is that guys are just simply jealous. You hear it all the time. Women have it so easy. You know what they're talking about? They're talking about sex, right? Because guys typically get the sex or take the sex that they can get. Because most men don't have a large amount of options, okay? Now that, I think, is a fault of their own. Because a lot of guys just don't put in the right kind of effort when it comes to cultivating options. Okay, you actually have to put forth effort if that's something you want in your life. Because it's just different for us. Yeah, a lot of women, they can just sit back and men will come to them. That's how sex works. They're receivers. Get over it. All right? You're never going to be a receiver, unless you're gay. All right? So if you're a straight dude and you want box, it's never coming for you. So give up. Give up trying to compare yourself to women because guess what? You're not a woman. Do you want to be a woman? Maybe you do, if that's, one of the things that you're jealous about. But yeah, a lot of these guys that complain, they're jealous. And I've noticed that they don't understand how things really work. They're not understanding how women are. They only understand that just a tiny bit. Okay, it's like icebergs, right? They see the tiny bit on the top of the water, and there's this huge mass underneath the water that a lot of guys, and I would say most guys, don't really have access to, nor do they understand how to access it. And then once they do, they don't understand how to interpret it because they're coming at it with biases. They don't seek to understand. But guys who are out here, okay, your gigolos, your, male whores, your players, your pimps, these guys understand women. They get the game. They understand what's going on out here. And you know what? They're not jealous. You will never, ever hear a player or a pimp or a hustler complaining about a woman's body count. And that's not to say that they're assholes where they just don't care. Some don't care. Like they don't about women. Like they just don't care. And some may even have disdain for women, right? Some are regular guys, okay? Like they've got a decent head on their shoulders, but they don't judge, they don't criticize, right? Because they've been around it enough to understand what the heck is going on out here. Right? Now, for you guys who are, all on this, like, all these women are out here sleeping with all these dudes and stuff, and those of you who are like into statistics and stuff like that, check it out. I read something recently that body count or sexual partners and sexual activity amongst this current generation is actually going down. What is that, Gen Z or whatever? Or millennials? I can't remember. Yeah. But anyways, they're going down. Now, is that because we're spending more time online? Is that because the value of being desired is becoming greater than the value of being had? Perhaps. There's a lot of factors involved here. That's kind of what I was getting at in the beginning. Like, why have people changed a little bit, right? Like, women have always enjoyed being desired, okay? But yes, I would say that there has been, a massive influx of the desire to be desired rather than the desire to be had. And so that could be due to social media, amongst a whole other host of factors. But if you do a study and only look at Instagram, then you're going to come to some various conclusions about women and say they're like this because of Instagram and these, sort of data points found within Instagram. That's not seeing the whole picture. And then you guys will look at that stuff and be like, oh my gosh, look, it's because of Instagram and all these things that women are like that. It's like, well, is that true? Is that necessarily true? Maybe it is true, but is that seeing the whole picture? Is that considering the other data, the other inputs that are happening that have an effect on human behavior? So when you're reading these statistics, don't take it to heart. If you're taking it to heart, you're going to get lost. And really, it's just a displacement of your own frustration and anger, right? That you're not getting the women in your life that you really want. So if you want that to change, I would suggest getting in touch with me to get what you want. And I promise that you'll stop paying attention to these ridiculous statistics because guess what? They don't change you. You could read the statistics and you're still going to be you. And actually in focusing on this information too much, okay, and this happens with the red pill community also, it distracts you from paying attention to what you need to do. When you're sitting there complaining about all this stuff about women and it's backed up by, studies and crap, that is time and attention not spent on yourself. Complaining and criticizing and judging the behavior of women is a waste of time. And I promise you this, all right, let me put you on a little bit of game. This is basic, like level 1 sort of stuff. Stop judging women for their sexuality. Start accepting your own And you'll get far greater results from women. Far greater. Now, I know that seems ridiculous, obvious, like child's play. Like, yeah, you judge somebody, they're going to clam up. They're going to close up. They're going to defend themselves. You don't judge someone, they're not going to clam up. They're going to open up. They're going to feel more relaxed, and they're going to trust you. And when a woman trusts you, and you know how to arouse her, and you know how to confidently communicate with her, what do you think is going to happen? Do the math. So if you want to learn how to communicate better, you want to learn how to arouse a woman better, you want to learn how to instill genuine trust in her, or from her, rather, get in touch with me. Go to my IG. Link will be in the bio. Peace.